Hi everyone! Welcome to the first episode of Chupadoodles podcast series. The Chupadoodles family is so happy to have you here, and I am the illustrator behind Chupadoodles. My name is Natasha. It's nice to meet everyone. So the Chupadoodles family consists of 4 unique characters: Chupa, Banban, Berry, and Baki. I normally illustrate them and upload artwork onto Instagram. I also run a stationery store based on these 4 characters. This podcast series / video series will be divided into 12 different parts. I'll be doing 1 episode per month, and it will be about why and how I started Chupadoodles. This is so I can share my story with y'all and to understand my thought process a little better. So I hope y'all will enjoy this series. So how this podcast series is gonna work is that I'm gonna upload the audio clip to YouTube while playing scenes from Chupadoodles. It's just behind the scenes work of what I'm currently working on in my small business. So the first episode of this podcast is titled Who Am I? And let's just get started. So basically, Who Am I is set in New Zealand where I was living and doing my master's. This was in early to mid 2019. I was actually born in Singapore, so I was living in New Zealand doing my master's in familiar but foreign country. I had been living in New Zealand for already 5 years, I think, at that point. This was the end of my master's already, so I was doing a summer research job internship position with my professor. My postgraduate years were probably the hardest in my life as I was constantly exhausted. I remember opening my eyes and they will always feel super heavy in the morning. And it was not even early morning, it would be late morning. I would sleep around 1 to 2 a.m. and I'll wake up maybe around 11 to 12. And I will constantly feel tired. After I wake up, I will usually freshen up and get ready to head to the library. But I'll eat lunch first. I'll eat lunch at my favorite, or lunch / breakfast at my favorite yaki udon place. This takeout store had the most delicious yaki udon I ever tasted, and that would actually brighten my whole day. After eating the most delicious yaki udon ever, I will head to the library and then I would study or work for about 10 to 12 hours till the library closes. This is because the library closes really late at about 12 a.m. and it opens really early. So I had the same routine for about 1.5 years where I'll do this, waking up, going to eat takeout, or maybe prepare some breakfast or brunch at home, and then I will study and work for about maybe 10 hours. Especially when I was writing my research paper, I spent very long days in the library, especially since the library closed at 12 a.m. and it opened really early. So I always felt like I had to go to the library to get my stuff done, to get all my work done before I could relax. But the work was never ending. I always felt like I should do more research, or I should improve this part of the paper. I was always trying to constantly improve myself, even at the expense of my own mental well-being. There was a lot of pressure on me that I put on myself to do well in no matter what I do. So at that moment, I was just studying the best and the hardest I could. So during my master's, I saw a lot of people, a lot of my classmates getting job offers and having a plan about what they wanted to do next in their life. Whereas for me, I was just focusing on just doing the best I can at my work or my study without actually planning for the future, as I did not know what to do. They were working very hard to find a job in that particular sector that they were interested in. I studied a master's of marketing. My classmates often look for jobs in advertising, and I thought that was what I wanted to do as well. I felt very stuck and I kept changing my mind. At the same time, my professor was also asking me what are my plans for the future, and I hated it. Not hated, but it made me feel really uncomfortable because I actually haven't thought about it. Looking back, I know it's because I didn't really understand myself. When I was growing up, usually people around me would make the decisions for me. So when it came to decide something for myself, it was really, really hard. The people in my family are quite driven, are actually really driven. So they know what they want to do in their life. And I felt like I didn't know that. And when I saw like my classmates getting these offers, I didn't know how to feel. I would always so readily listen to others, and I always sought other people's opinions about what I should do in my life. And because of that, when it came to deciding what I should do for my career, I couldn't settle on one thing. When I saw other people doing this, I thought I should do that as well. And I did try, I would say. I did try to do those things, but it was like the doors were not opening for me in those areas. So in the end, and this continued on till the end of my summer research internship. The same familiar feeling arose on me, and I felt stuck. Now I know it's because I didn't understand myself. I did not understand my strengths and weaknesses, and because of that, I relied on others to make their decisions for me. So this episode was more about my background, so you'll get to know me and how I made my decisions. I am just building up to the next part of the series. Once again, in the next few episodes, I will talk about how I decided to start Chupadoodles. So the next part of the podcast will be more about how I worked through my decisions and struggled through them. So if you're interested in next month's podcast, please stay tuned. I am Natasha, the illustrator behind the Chupadoodles family. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this first episode. I will try to improve and make it even better. I'm still learning more about how to do a proper podcast series and produce it well. So thank you for your time. Take care, guys. Bye. Signing off with the Chupa Fan. See you next time.